It's all very well saying we want to be secure, but how do we do that without disabling everything, without costing everything, without delaying everything while the security people check everything and ask difficult questions about everything? I mean, security has costs, right? Obviously, security costs money, but delays also cost calendar time and opportunities, and lost features cost your end users capabilities. So getting security right isn't just balancing these costs against poorly understood intangible threats, and nor is it downloading a list of security things you should do, or even just following established security best practices blindly, although these can be useful if you're just starting. So in this video, you'll learn some useful things about managing cybersecurity, in business terms, not technical terms, so that you can do security right for your situation. And you should find it useful if you're a project manager or a product owner or some other non-tech who is having to deal with all the cybersecurity gobbledygook that we tend to get in this topic. But you might also find it useful if you're a tech and you're wondering how your technical work fits into the bigger business picture. So let's get started. Now, it can be tempting to start with protections, because that's what we think of security being. But to get it right, we need to start with what we're protecting and what that means to us. We can then look at where they are and how they move, so we know where to put our security, and we will look at how we might be attacked, which gives us where and what protections we should put in place. So start with just listing your assets. Now, these might be tangible valuables like cash or jewellery or expensive equipment, but they might be people, such as family or staff. It's a bit rude to talk about people as being assets, but I'm sure you've called them ruder things from time to time. Or they could be semi-tangible assets like documentation or data or information that you want to keep private. Or there might even be more nebulous assets like reputation or loyalty or share prices. And then we need to work out what they mean to us. What would be the impact on us if they were stolen, for example? Now, in cybersecurity, we sometimes use terms like confidentiality, availability, and integrity, but these are principles of protection, and we're not at that stage yet. So for now, we're going to use the term nick to mean somebody steals or copies your assets, brick to mean somebody has disabled it, made it as useful as a brick, and trick to mean someone has subverted your asset in some way. So for example, your bicycle could be stolen, vandalised, or its mechanisms subverted in some terrible way. Money can be stolen, it can be locked away from you or destroyed, and it can be forged. Staff can be poached by other organisations or prevented from coming to work or persuaded to sabotage your business. Your financial information can be copied, maybe the devices you use to access it are destroyed or broken, or the servers are disabled, or key parts might be changed to mislead your business or staff. So just take a look at your asset list and run down each one and rate each against each effect. So what would be the effect if your asset was nicked, bricked or tricked in some way? And for a first pass, we can rate each of the effects on each of the assets with a simple high, medium or low scale, and perhaps maybe a not relevant marker. And at this stage, we just want to discover which assets we need to first concentrate on. So here they're the ones with the most red. Now this first survey of our assets gives us the foundation for everything else. We can be clear about what we care about, what we really care about, and what doesn't really matter. But we'll want to refine these to consider the various impacts that these would have on your home or your business. And you can do this later once you've been through the whole process once, but we'll cover it here in case you want to start this way. Now impacts come in different forms. It's all very well going high, medium or low, but the impact might be that it costs money or costs more effort to get around it or fix it, or the impact might be lost time and delays. Or the impact might be that safety is reduced, or that your ability to operate, the things that you can do, is reduced. The impacts might be emotional, or personal stress, or strained relationships, and so on and so on. Now, many of these are ordinary impacts that you're already aware of when you think of risk. At home, you already know the impacts of a burglary will at least include money and time and effort to replace what has been stolen, repair and clean whatever has been broken. And there may well be emotional impacts too. And at work, you may already, hopefully, be considering some of these ordinary risk impacts as part of your project or business risk assessments. If you haven't, now's the time. Pick out the impacts that are most relevant to you or your home or your business. Now that's a lot of types of impact, and that can make this complicated very quickly. So let's look at simplifying them. For example, if you're creating a commercial website, then cost, money, effort, and calendar delays may be the top impacts that you care about. And since time is money, you may even be able to measure all these impacts as money costs. You can simplify them all down and just rate all your impacts in cash terms. But if you're creating a military capability, then the top impacts might be calendar delays and reduced operational capability and associated safety. And these you might actually collapse down as capability over time. So you've got one index to use for all your risks. Now these impacts are not special to cyber. This is not part of the cybersecurity jargon gobbledygook. These are ordinary risk impacts that apply to anything valuable, whatever the cause or the means used. They're part of an ordinary risk assessment. Okay, so now you have a grip on what you are protecting and why. And this means you can start to put the right amount of effort into protecting each one. So you're not spending too much on the ones with low impact loss, and you're focusing more on the ones that have greater impacts. Now we just need to look at where those assets are and how they move so we can tell where to focus those protections.